Welcome back to Blind Man Morris, and today we're talking about the Remote Brake Reservoir Kit found on Morris Miners. So first off, let's see what you get in the kit. So here, laid out on the side here, is your header tank, your brake hose. There'll be two hose clips, and they're actually hose clips, not Jubilee clips. Your spigot, which goes on the back of the master cylinder. 3P clips, the clamp that goes to your bulkhead, and your self-tapping screws to attach the P-clips to wherever you attach them, and the clamp to the bulkhead. So why would you want to fit a remote brake reservoir to your Morris? There's two main reasons really. One, probably first, and the main reason is to increase the volume of brake fluid in your system so you can fit front disc brakes. You need more brake fluid for disc brakes because they displace more brake fluid than a normal system, and as they adjust, as the pads wear down on the brake calipers, they draw more fluid into the system, so you need more fluid. The second reason is it's just easier to use. This header tank will be in the engine bay, be on the bulkhead at reasonable level, so you just look down, you can take a quick look at it, see where your brake level is, your brake fluid level is, and you don't have to go into your driver's footwell, pull the carpet back, dig out a spanner, undo the nut, and go through all that malarkey to have a look at your brake fluid level, because you just have a look on the side, and if it needs topping up, you don't even need any tools, just undo it in your hand. So they're the two reasons. What are the pitfalls to fitting one of these? Probably the main one is you're increasing connections in your braking system, and they're not as good as the copper nickel pipes used on your brake pipes. There are normally this sort of brake hose, which although is brake fluid friendly, they're not as good as the metal pipes. And obviously you've got brake hose clips, and they're not as good as the original mechanical screw-in type connections. So there's always a chance that these pipes will wear, and then the junctions will leak. And of course, the other snag you can face is on the back of your, and this is an old master cylinder here, as you can see, is this big old sealing nut at the back of the master cylinder header tank there. And this has to be replaced with this spigot, because that's where you connect your header tank to the back of the master cylinder to increase your brake fluid. And it's getting that off. Obviously, it's tight in the chassis leg. You've got to fit a spanner onto there to knock it off. It can be tricky. It can be seized on there. So that is an issue. And then getting this fitted. And in behind this bolt is a lovely flat washer, which gives you a really tight seal on the back of the master cylinder. When you take that off, you need to rescue that copper washer. And when you refit your spigot, you need to heat that copper washer up until it's cherry red, dip it in some water, then fit it to the back of your master cylinder with your spigot and tighten it up. And because it's been heated up, it'll be nice and soft and give you a really good seal. So there we go. And I'll mock it up now in the workshop so you can look, see how it all runs, and then we'll go up to the car and show you how it's fitted. So here's your basic layout of your header tank and the pipe leading to your spigot. So this is going to be in your engine bay. The pipe's going to drop down on the edge of the engine bay, clip along the chassis leg, come in through a hole that you've drilled in your chassis leg, which allows this pipe through. You're going to need to deburr that hole so there's no sharp edges so it doesn't catch your pipe. Then it connects to the back of your master cylinder like that, and that's how it goes. It looks simple, but as always, never goes straight forward, I wouldn't have thought. And when you fitted this, your master cylinder filler cap needs to be sealed, because obviously with the header tank now up there, any fluid is going to want to pump out the breather hole in your filler cap. So you either need to buy a bespoke sealed filler cap, or you can cap the hole with either a self-tapping screw, araldite, or a rivet, or some such thing like that, save you having to buy a new filler cap.
But before you do that, when you're doing it, you need to do is drop the level of fluid.
Yes, below this bolt.
To below that bolt.
Yes, so you drop the level of the fluid below that bolt.
And then you can change the spigot over.
Without losing brake fluid.
Yep. And then somebody stays in the car.
Yep.
The other person goes outside the car
Starts
with it all
filling it.
connected, and and fills it up. And then when it gets almost full,
you top it up.
You can close it.
Yeah, that's just to let the air out. Basically, that's what you're doing. You're allowing the air out as you're filling it up. And once it's filled up, you put the cap on, and then you go back to filling this up until it's at the maximum level in the engine bay. And then you're probably going to need to bleed your brakes afterwards just to make sure the whole system's got no air in it. So while you're in there in your chassis leg, there's no point fitting this system if you've got any leaks on your master cylinder, especially coming from this back end here, where it connects to the original brake system, or the front air on the main seals. If they've got any leaks, there's no point fitting the brake reservoir kit until you've changed out your master cylinder. The other thing to do is have a look at your clutch and brake pivot point while you're in the chassis leg, lubricate everything in there and make sure there's not that much wear on it. If there's too much flapping around of your pedals or it's grinding in there, it's a good opportunity to swap those out while you're in there working. Have a look at the condition of your chassis leg for corrosion, and make sure that everything's up to scratch before you fit anything else. And that's it, really. And I think we need to go up and fit it on the car.
Yep.
On to the next job. So here we are up at the car, and because we are replacing the pipe and header tank, we already had a spigot on the back of the master cylinder, so we didn't have to go through the process of removing that. So you can see where the pipe comes in and where it joins to the back of the spigot, and you can see the hose clip on there. It had a Jubilee clip on there before, so the hose clip is much better. And Amber's going to slide under the car and show you how we routed it up along the chassis leg and then up into the engine bay.
I'm under the car, and you can see where that hose is coming in, and you can see that I've cable tied it to the electrical cables that go to the back of the car there, and that is very close to the front of the prop shaft in case you're looking for a point of reference. And then both of those then come through the gearbox mounting bar there, and they route through there, and then they come along here, so they are the other side of where the clutch linkage is here, and they are attached to and going along the side of the brake line here. What you want to avoid is putting them anywhere near this, because this moves when you put your foot on the clutch, so that will wear if you put the hose anywhere near it at all. So I hope you can see that I've used those P-clips in two places there to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere near the clutch linkage there. So then I've got several cable tying it together to the electrical line, and then it's going to go up inside the engine bay, and I'll go up inside the engine bay and show you where it is there. The main thing is to avoid anything mechanical that is moving here, and making sure that it doesn't flap about anywhere. So it's attached with the two P-clips and about 4 cable ties all the way along there. Then I'm in the engine bay, and the hose then comes up through this side of the engine bay to the left side of the engine, and it is routed behind all the electrical cables and the solenoid, if you've got that, on the left hand side there, and then it goes up behind the heater hoses there, and then attaches up here to the bowl. Now you might notice, you're probably thinking this is dreadful, this has leaked over the series of years, the previous one. And so what has happened is it's affected the paintwork, because brake fluid can affect the paintwork. So we're going to sort out the leak, and then I will sort out the paintwork. But that's how it links on. There's the bowl, there's the clip, and there is the hose clip there that we've attached. So we'll now fill it up, and then we should be done. Here we are, we're just finishing off. John's just putting the cover plate back on. I
lubricated the clutch and brake pivot point when I was in here, checked the state of the return spring, and it was all in good nick.
Made sure the master cylinder was all right.
Yeah, there was no leaks in there. Checked all the clips again, tightened it all off.
We've been under and checked that it's not leaking.
Yeah, we've done all that.
We'll drive it for a bit.
Oh, monitor the fluid level then, because obviously there's going to be a little bit of air between the pipe and the tank, but not in there. Actually, we didn't need to bleed the system because there's no air got into the system when we were filling it up.
Because we were replacing it.
And obviously we didn't take the spigot off the back, so the brake fluid never went below halfway down the tank of the master cylinder this end, so we were lucky. But if you're replacing the whole lot, obviously, or putting it in from new, you're going to probably need to bleed the brakes. So there we go, and on to the next job.